Hello and welcome to Bounding the Comics. My name is John Trent. I'm the founder and editor-in-chief at Bounding the Comics. Today I got a story about the Mandalorian season finale and how it retcons Star Wars Rebels continuity and Star Wars continuity in general. So the season finale of The Mandalorian retconned an important aspect of Mandalorian culture that was previously explored in Star Wars Rebels, and that aspect of the Mandalorian culture specifically revolves around the Dark Saber. That aspect of Mandalorian culture is retconned in the season finale of The Mandalorian, titled Chapter 16, The Rescue, when Din Djarin teams up with Bo-Katan to infiltrate Moff Gideon's Star Destroyer. After the assault team mows down Gideon's defenses and takes the bridge, Din Djarin, who went to rescue Grogu by himself, confronts Moff Gideon at the brig and defeats him in one-on-one combat, claiming the Dark Saber for himself. After defeating Gideon, Djarin escorts him to the bridge. It's here where the retcon occurs. Moff Gideon tells Djarin, the Darksaber, it belongs to you. Din Djarin then attempts to give the weapon to Bo-Katan, stating now it belongs to her. However, she doesn't accept it. Gideon then informs Djarin, saying she can't take it, it must be won in battle. In order for her to wield the Darksaber again, she would need to defeat you in combat. When Djarin attempts to yield, Gideon interjects, oh no, it doesn't work that way. The Darksaber doesn't have power. The story does. Without that blade, she's a pretender to the throne. Bo-Katan then confirms Gideon's statements, saying he's right. This plot point in the episode would be put on hold when a platoon of Dark Troopers board the ship and launch an attack in an attempt to rescue Gideon and Grogu. However, as it stands, this retcons what we know of the Darksaber from Star Wars Rebels. So I'm going to get a little bit into the history of the Darksaber here. So as many Star Wars fans know, the Darksaber is a black lightsaber that was created by Tar Vizsla, the first Mandalorian to become a Jedi. During the Clone Wars, the weapons would be wielded by Vizsla's ancestor and the leader of the Death Watch, Pre Vizsla. Pre Vizsla would eventually ally himself with Maul and Savage Opress, his Shadow Collective, in order to claim Mandalore as his own. However, he would betray Maul and Opress and imprison them, but they would eventually break free. And then Maul would challenge Vizsla to single combat. He would disarm Vizsla of the Darksaber and execute him with it. With the Darksaber, Maul would claim leadership of the Death Watch and Mandalore itself. But Vizsla's subordinate, Bo-Katan, would refuse to follow Maul's leadership and would escape Mandalore in a firefight, or at least escape the throne room in a firefight. Nevertheless, the weapon stayed in Maul's possession until he was defeated by the Emperor on Mandalore. It was then recovered by Mandalorians who were still loyal to Maul. They would eventually break him free from a prison that Palpatine had placed him in, and then would give him back the weapon after he was freed from imprisonment by the Death Watch. The weapon would eventually be abandoned on Dathomir following a confrontation between the Emperor, Maul, and the Night Sister leader, Mother Talzin. It's there that Sabine Wren discovered the weapon and decided to hold on to it in Star Wars Rebels. In the Star Wars Rebels episode Trials of the Darksaber, we do learn about the Darksaber's history from Fen Rao. Rao tells Kanan Jarrus, tells him, it is the Darksaber, a symbol for the leader of House Vizsla, and later the group known as Death Watch. Legend tells that it was created over 1,000 years ago by Tar Vizsla, the first Mandalorian ever inducted into the Jedi Order. After his passing, the Jedi kept the saber in their temple. That wasn't until members of House Vizsla snuck in and liberated it. They used the saber to unify the people and strike down those who would oppose them. One time, they ruled all of Mandalore wielding this blade. Rao would then state, this saber is an important symbol to the house and respected by the other clans. If Sabine can wield the saber, she can reunite one of the most powerful houses in all of Mandalore. Ren would eventually train with the Darksaber and attempt to gain the support of Clan Ren for the growing Rebel Alliance. However, Sabine's mother Ursa Ren would challenge Sabine's claim to the weapon since she had not defeated Maul in single combat to claim the blade. Remember, Maul was able to reacquire the blade without besting the Emperor, who had defeated him in single combat. When Sabine reveals she did not win the weapon in combat, Ursa states, then you have no claim to it. She would add, anyone can hold the Darksaber, the trick is keeping it along with your head. Sabine would eventually win the Darksaber in combat when it was taken from her by the governor of Mandalore, Gar Saxon, who was loyal to the Empire. he attempted to claim the weapon for himself and wipe out Clan Ren in one fell swoop. His plan would not work, as Ren would use Ezra Bridger's lightsaber to disarm Saxon and claim the blade. Sabine would continue to wield the Darksaber, using it in a mission to Mandalore to sabotage the Duchess, which is a weapon she created that specifically targets Mandalorian armor and allowed the Empire to subjugate the planet. Following this mission, Sabine would give the weapon to Bo-Katan. She tells Bo-Katan, "Now I understand why the saber came to me. It came to me so I could pass it to you." Bo-Katan claims the weapon, saying, "I accept this sword for my sister, for my clan, and for all of Mandalore." No one challenges Bo-Katan's leadership, not even Ursa Wren, who's standing right next to her and had previously challenged Sabine's right to wield it. She does not take the weapon in single combat. She just is handed it to her by Sabine. And after she gets that weapon from Sabine, she accepts the responsibility as well as the authority it symbolizes. So it's quite strange then that in this Mandalorian finale, that she would revert back to wanting to claim the blade in single combat when it is offered to her by Din Djarin. We have two examples where the blade is used to show leadership over Mandalore when it had not been claimed in single combat. We have when Maul gets it from the people who rescued him from the Emperor after he was defeated by the Emperor, and then we also have it when Bo-Katan receives the blade from Sabine Wren. So to me, this is most definitely a retcon at this point in Star Wars continuity. However, that doesn't leave open the possibility of them explaining the retcon. Off the top of my head, one possibility could be that Bo-Katan might need to reclaim the weapon in single combat against Gideon because he previously defeated her and claimed the weapon as his own. If that is the case, the Mandalorian people might have seen Bo-Katan's loss as a sign of weakness and that she really wasn't meant to unite and rule them. In order to prove that she should be the one to reunite and rule Mandalore, she would have to reclaim the weapon. However, it is hard to imagine that Gideon defeated Bo-Katan in single combat, given his performance in the season finale against Din Djarin. Although it's possible that this could be explained away using the the Darth Jar Jar theory, or even a lot of theories surrounding Emperor, that the Emperor that it was all part of his plan to ambush them, and that's why he easily defeated, or that's why he was easily defeated, because it was all part of his plan to get captured and try and pit Din Djarin against Bo-Katan, to try and sow discord within the boarding party. That's a little hard to envision, but it is, I'm sure people will try and explain it that way. But what do you make of this retcon? Let me know in the comments below. My name is John Trent, and you've been watching Bounty in the Comics. I will have another video for you on Monday.